Hi everyone and welcome back to another 3D revolution. Now I'm sure you're aware when you've got multiple items on your print bed and just one of them fails halfway through a print, you have to cancel everything. It's really annoying. But a useful plugin in OctoPrint means that's no longer the case. It allows you to cancel just a single item on the print bed and continue printing everything else fine. So in this video we're going to be looking at how to get this set up and how to make sure whatever slicer you've got, you're slicing your items correctly so it will be able to recognize the individual items. So let's have a look. The plugin is called Cancel Object and it allows you to do exactly that. It allows you to select individual specific objects on your print bed and cancel them mid-print, continuing the rest of them. So you can see here I'm printing 5 different objects and partway through, oh, what a shame, one of them has become loose from the bed. I will have to cancel that object. So here it is the Pyramid 5 item. If I cancel that now, you can see it jumps to the point where that print would start and then it moves straight on to the next model and continues on. Everything ends up printing absolutely fine. There's no oozing or anything like that. It prints them great. So we'll have a quick look at how to install the app then. But then we'll move on to the all-important slicer settings, making sure that your slicer is outputting the right details so the plugin can recognize the different objects.
As with any other OctoPrint plugin, just head up to the settings menu, down to Plugin Manager, then select Get More, and you can search for your plugin. So we'll search for Cancel here, and it will come up as the top object, Cancel Objects, then click Install. Once that's finished installing, you can hit Restart Now, and then proceed. Once it's installed, there's a few different settings that you can change in the Cancel Object settings menu, including down here the G-code menu. It allows you to add G-code to run either before or after it skips an object, so you could have it wipe the nozzle or something.
Okay, so that's the plugin installed. Now let's look at the slicer settings. This plugin is compatible with anything that's been sliced by Cura, PrusaSlicer, Simplify 3D, or even Slicer. So I'm going to go through each of these softwares now and how to make sure they're outputting the right settings. If you want to jump to your slicer, check the shortcuts in the description below. Otherwise, just watch through and you'll get there eventually. I'll see you guys in a second. In PrusaSlicer, it's really easy. Just go up to Print Settings, down to Output Options, and make sure that Label Objects is ticked. You can rename each of your files in the menu on the right-hand side by selecting the name and renaming them to things that you can then identify them as in Cancel Object. It's worth noting that whilst you can rename these and identify them as different objects, if you were to create instances of a single object, such as this, these instances aren't separate objects, so you wouldn't be able to cancel these individually. It's only things that have either been copy and pasted or re-imported from scratch. Instances you will not be able to rename separately. The last thing you want to do is to go to Printer Settings, go to Custom G-code, and at the very start of your end G-code, enter semicolon space printing object space end G-code, all caps. Okay, with Cura, just go up and change combing mode to off. It's worth noting that because of the way that Cura creates support material, it defines all the support material on your print bed as a single item. And so if you were to cancel a file that had support material, it's not going to cancel the support material on that item. So if you're slicing with Cura, it's not really worth using this system for anything that has support material. Once you've turned off combing, just go up to your printer settings, go into the machine settings, and on your end code, enter semicolon, mesh in all caps, colon, end G-code in all caps. And this just makes sure that if the item that you cancelled was the last item, it's going to still continue to read the rest of your G-code. With Simplify 3D, it's the processes that you're able to cancel rather than the models. So to be able to cancel each model individually, you want to create a different process for each model. So here we have 5 pyramids, you would want 5 processes, and then to apply each model to each process. So on this process, we would just go to select models and then make sure that only the one pyramid has been selected, and then we would give this the name that we want to identify it as, and then we would create another one, and we'd call this, and then we would come down and we would select just the next pyramid, and then so on and so forth for each of your models. You want to also make sure that in each of these processes, if you go to the G-code tab, that the allow zeroing of extrusion distances is ticked. You want this to be kept ticked on. So make sure that for each of your processes that is selected. Finally, with Simplify 3D, you want to go into each of your processes again, and then you want to go to Scripts, Ending Script, and then at the very start, you want to enter semicolon space printing object, and then in all capitals, end G-code, and then click OK. Whilst Slicer has been one of the compatible slicers with this plugin before, unfortunately you require the development version installed to be able to access the settings needed, and currently the development version is no longer available to download from their website, but I'll pop a link in the description below to where you can keep an eye out for this availability in the future. Well, I hope that's helped you get set up, making sure that you don't get caught out by just one file failing on your print bed. Make sure you also check out my videos on recommended and essential plugins for OctoPrint, because there might be others you weren't aware of. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments below. Otherwise, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thanks very much.